Well, it's definitely having an impact, a bigger impact than probably anything has had in a while. If you look at the markets, they have been complacent for some time. I mean, the last 6 months, really since the beginning of the year, have just been sort of a continued risk-on rally that has been hard to understand by many fundamental investors. And so to some degree, this Korea threat has served as a wake-up call to the current state of the markets.
To what extent do you think this may just be a pretext for an opportunity to sell down some risk? Given, as you point out, there have been concerns around valuation for some time here. And we do seem to have moved into a phase where the market is falling out of love with Donald Trump and becoming slightly concerned that the promised fiscal plan will not be implemented, or at least introduced as legislation before the end of the year.
Well, if anything, it actually presents the threat that the market could could re-rate itself, in the sense that if you look at forward multiples right now, they have still priced in, not as much as before, but they have still priced in an expectation of at least tax cuts, if not some form of fiscal expectation that probably, I mean, if you look at the way Congress is acting, it's hard to imagine that they're going to be able to accomplish much of the agenda that was set out at the beginning of the year. And so some of those forward multiples have to be rethought at this point.
What about specifically around volatility and the VIX? I mean, a lot of investors have been trading all types of volatility products, trying to get a little bit of a pop on top of what have been somewhat low returns across the market. Right. Are we now in a new phase? I mean, we keep asking this question, so you're almost reluctant to do so. But do you think the VIX is entering a new era?
Well, if you consider the markets could get into a phase where they're rethinking what is happening, one of the elements that has been pervasive since the Trump election has actually been this incredible diversification effect that's been happening, meaning that pairwise correlations really broke down. So stocks were acting very idiosyncratically. So if you looked at the VIX, it was quite a bit lower than the average volatility in the market because you had this diversification effect. If that starts to unwind at the same time that the markets start re-rating, you're not just going to get a pop, you're going to get an even bigger unwind in volatility, and it could be actually quite devastating.